So let's kind of review what we were saying last week and continue a little bit deeper. Okay, so don't look at the text, listen up. So we pointed out that Rosh Hashana is very unusual because Rosh Hashana, the Torah itself doesn't say what Rosh Hashana is. Unlike every other Yom Tov, even without Torah Shebaal Peh, without any commentary, just reading the Chumash and a translation, you understand what Shabbos is, and what Pesach is, and what Sukkot is, and what Shavuos is, and even Yom Kippur. Day of Atonement, you fast, Yom Kippurim. Rosh Hashana, the Torah says, the first day of the seventh month, no manner of work, bring these korbanos. Yom Teruah, a day of sounding, doesn't say what to sound, why to sound, when to sound. It's the only Yom Tov that's also the first day of the month, where the moon is barely visible. It's also significant. So the answer, of course, we know, and the answer is that the reason why Hashem does not write the script of Rosh Hashana is because Rosh Hashana, we write the script, not the Eibishter. We explain that's why there's two beginnings of the Jewish year. The beginning of the first month is Nisan, but Rosh Hashana is the first day of the seventh month. I know if we addressed this last week, just to review that and to add a nuance here. Why two beginnings? It's confusing. So the simple answer is, the historical answer is, they mark two different realities. Rosh Hashana is the creation of the world, of Adam and Chava, of humanity, and Pesach, which is Nisan, the first month, is the birth of the Jewish people. And they happen at two separate times. But this itself has to be understood. So why God, in his infinite wisdom, couldn't make the two coincide? To the Jewish people, the anniversary of our birth coincides with the anniversary of humanity. The answer is, we're not part of humanity. And the world is not letting us forget that for a moment. We are born amid miracles. We are a miraculous people. And it's our task to bring the miraculous, the divine to the world, heaven to earth. In other words, why are we celebrating Rosh Hashana? It's not a Yom Tov. It's for the Goyim, Bamis. In fact, I must told you, there's a whole international community of Bnei Noach, of non-Jews that are living as Bnei Noach, led by, many cases, former pastors and priests. It's a new phenomenon it's getting traction. And they're living as righteous Gentiles, al pi Torah. So they asked the Rabbanim, they have a whole like a Shulchan Aruch for them, what observances, and Pesach is not for them, but Rosh Hashana is. So what do? They don't blow shofar, but how do they mark it? They give guidelines. The Rebbe said the Rabbanim should sit and give guidelines to non-Jews who want to observe the 7 Noahide laws, and etc. So what are we doing celebrating Rosh Hashana? The answer is that Pesach is our birth, Rosh Hashana is our mission. We have to bring Elikuz to nature, to the world. So going deeper, as we explained last week, so this statement that we have from the Gemara is the only statement. It's a few lines. It's 3 lines in the Gemara, and this statement has opened up what Rosh Hashana is, and it's the subject of hundreds and hundreds of Maimorim and Chassidus and Sfarim. These few lines, it's incredible. Rabbi said, right? The Eibishter says to Yidden, say before me Rosh Hashana, Malchus, Malchias, Zichroines, and Shofres. Talking about kingship, remembrances, and shofar. Still very vague. What's going on? Malchis kadesh talmichuni alechem. These few words. This is the whole thing of Rosh Hashana. Malchis, make me king over you. Zichroines. Why should you say verses of this is the Musaf of Rosh Hashana, friends. The longest amid of the whole year. 3 big sections of 10 psukim in each. These 3 unique themes: kingship, remembrances. Soon explain what that means, hopefully, and shofaris. So do all of this to make me king of you. Zichronis at my I should remember you favorably. What does God forget? What does this mean? We'll have to explain that in a second. Man, how do you do this, b'shofar? It's a very cryptic. Even this is cryptic. It's because some of the questions here starts off saying, Imru lefanai, say before me, implying psukim, but shofar is not just a pasuk, shofar actually blow. So there's a lot of things that explained to you in the language, the subject of my motive. But what's the point of this? The point of this is that Rosh Hashana Hashem is saying, I created the world. Now let's put it together for the Jew. I created the world. I created you, Pesach, you miraculous people. I created the world for you, for the Yid, for Torah. Every Rosh Hashanah, it's our commitment to bring into creation, to reveal Hashem, to make Hashem want to create the world and to renew the whole purpose. Let me explain what that means now. We're going to, based on my modern we're learning this morning, this week in MTSC, this past week. Bereshis, creation, is God as creator. Now Hashem is creator. You don't need Torah and mitzvahs to relate to God as creator. You're just going to be intelligent and objective, and don't fool yourself. And you look at the design of the world, you point to a designer. It's as simple as that. It's a famous medrash. A person was going in a desert, and he sees a palace. So he says, there must be someone that made this, a balabas, someone that designed this. In a desert, to find a complex design, points to a designer. The whole world is very complex. And this is traceable through simple search. Moreover, you don't need Torah mitzvahs to live a harmonious life. It's logical. You can't kill, you can't steal. You got to live in harmony. Everybody will gain from that. You have a prosperous world, right? These are, this is the theory of communism, the theory of even of the free enterprise. These are all means by which logic says how we're going to all prosper, how we're all going to do well. And you come to conclusions. It needs peace, it needs respect, it needs laws. You can live a beautiful life without Torah mitzvahs and a spiritual life, recognizing, being in tune with the creator of the world. Because you see, there's a singular force that this is all connected to. So that's God. And you're living in harmony with God. That's not the intention. Because that's not who God is. The Eibush is not the great designer, intelligent design that produces this beautiful world. Like the artist will naturally produce the art. And just like the artist produces complex art and simple art, there's Atzilus, there's Bria, there's complex, the brain is very complex, there are simple entities. And they're complex entities, but they all point to the designer. The Eibishter is not a designer, he's not a creator. It's a decision to be creator. He's beyond creator. This is Atzmutzi's Baruch, the words of the Maimer learning. There's two kinds of melech. There's a relative melech, he's a king over the people. He's a relative leader. And then there are people that are essentially leaders, aristocratic leaders, not because of they're just more intelligent than the other fellow and they can give advice, but they're essentially removed. To use an example in our own world. All to say, our purpose as Jews, born on Pesach, that's miracle beyond nature, the eternal Jewish people, Am Yisrael Chai, is to reveal that God in creation. Not the creator, but the Heilige Bashefer, the holy creator. God himself beyond the divine design, beyond harmony and peace. It isn't about living a menschlich, good, beautiful life. It's about living a godly life. And that godliness should suffuse menschlichkeit and beauty and everything else, not separate. It should suffuse it and illuminate it. So it's our task to reveal to the world, not that there's a creator, they don't need us for this. Anybody intelligent will find the creator. It's atzmusay, the essence of Hashem beyond creator. And that's not accessible through meditation, through discovery. God's beyond. How do you connect to God himself? That's Torah and mitzvahs. He tells us how, put on tefillin, give tzedakah. So Rosh Hashana, in summary, is like this. Hashem says, I created the world. My purpose is I want you to reveal me beyond creator. I'm withdrawing this desire every year because I want you to summon it from me deeper. I want you, how? By you wanting me deeper. Make me your king. And the level of king we're talking about here is the second level. It's called Reimemus Atzmis, essential king. They wish to beyond creator. Yes, it's God himself. Summon that desire that came from within me. I want you to summon it forth to me even deeper. How? By pledging yourself even deeper, by wanting me even more than you wanted me before. And how does that translate? At the end of the day, says the Gemara, a simple act. Do something now. Going for the Bishop Betzach is begging by us. Something going from Rosh Hashana that you have not done till now. Open a door in your life that you blocked me and closed me for good excuse and good reason. I'm not going to punish you for it, but I find the yid. Yeah, no one's perfect, so it's okay. We'll give you a pass. No. The Jew says no pass, opening it up and allowing you in. That's a real Rosh Hashana. It comes down to the Mameh B'Shoifa, a simple act. A simple physical act. All this is done by taking a ram son. And that's not so easy to mean that and actually do it. So I have a whole Elo to think about this and start working on it. And this is what I'm giving you, Eibishter. This is my Niladoidi. And each one, this is a real cheshbon and nefesh we have to make, where, and it could be subtle or it could be big. Everyone has their own relationship. Where till now, that door was closed, and I threw away the key. Opening that door. Why? Because Abish is begging me for it. You're everything to me. I can't bear this, says Hashem, that there's a part of your life that you're not letting me in. I can't bear it. This is Nisava. It's Abish's deepest desire. He showed this is what he wants. And Nisava is the desire that began the whole creation is, created a whole world, a whole universe. For one thing, a Yid down here should let God into his life completely, and that way illuminate, and the whole world should know that. The whole world, what's Mashiach? What's going to be then? The whole world, it's fighting for, it's grappling with it now. The whole world is then going to say, it's going to be at the big wedding. What's the wedding? It's a whole lot of people coming to celebrate two people becoming one. That's the whole chasana. And with tanzim and the Chaim is flowing, everyone's having the time of their lives. What's going on over here? You're coming to celebrate because you love these people and you respect them with your relationship, and you're coming to celebrate that these two people are forming a bond forever. Yidden of the Eibush to the Chas and Kala. And the whole world, Mashiach comes, the whole world will celebrate and will want to be invited. I want to be part of this. Can I help in any way? Here's a gift to use. Take it to your home. Please take this. The whole world wants to be a part of the union of the Eibush and the Yid. How they're part of it by keeping their 7 Orachai laws. That's how they're part of it. That's the building. They're contributing to the building, to the whole, to the home. Or the gifts that they give that they want Chas and Kala to use. The world will be begging, Jew, take something from me. Make this part of your Beis HaMikdash. Make this part of your relationship with Hashem. It's really happening now the most perverted way, in the obsession with the Yid. In the perverted way. But the obsession has never been greater, never been crazier, and never been incomprehensible. What did I just hear the other day? Just going to details with it's crazy. Why is it crazy? Because Jews don't belong in the world. We are neshamas rooted in the Eibishter. We're not part of this whole scene. And we're here to bring godliness to it. To bring Pesach, as it were, to Rosh Hashana, which is nature, Teva. So we've got a few minutes left. Let's look at the paper I gave you, the second quote. We're going to talk about what you dip the apple in honey. A simple reason that apple in honey is what? Sweet. It's an apple. You're supposed to use a sweet apple. So it's a sweet apple. You put it in honey, double sweetness. God should give a good year, and that's right. That's fine and beautiful right there. Let's go a little bit deeper. So before I want to actually, I forgot. I wanted to bring an apple and demonstrate this to you, so you can do this at home. But you take an apple, friends, and cut it horizontally in the center, mamish. You'll be surprised if you never did this.
Hold on. The apple should be
Like this. If you cut it this way, not the regular way the way you would eat it.
Okay.
Now, if you've never done this before, you'd be shocked. Every apple you're going to see like this. A star in the center, a five-pointed star into which the seeds are sitting. 5 seeds. A perfect, beautiful star. And then 10 points. Points. In a circle around the star. Every apple has a 5-pointed star. Try it today. Go home today. You got to cut in the middle because you miss it. You're right in the middle. You can see on both sides of the apple.
Like this.
This way, yeah. This way. And then you'll open it up. Yud K, the 10 points is the letter Yud. And the 5 literally cavities in which the seeds sit is Hey, is 5. Now, Yud K, the first letter of Hashem's name. What's its significance? So look at the top of the page. The pasuk says in Yeshaya, Ki beko Hashem tzur elamim. Simple meaning, for in God Hashem is the rock of eternity. Even the translation is kind of what exactly is it saying. So the Gemara Menachah says, why does it say beko? Should say Kiko Hashem tzur elamim. I actually translated this, one of the Perushim, for in God, trust. The base is trust. In the Eibishter is the rock of eternity. That's one answer why it says in. But the simple meaning is that God is the rock of eternity. So what's the in? So the Gemara answers that the word means with. The letter means with. The Pasuk is saying now, it's a whole new explanation. The Gemara, famous Gemara. The Pasuk is saying ki, for, with, the letters Yud and Hey, Hashem, God, Tzur means rock, but Tzur also means Tzura, form. Elamim, God formed the, Elam can mean eternity, it can also mean worlds in the plural. Oh, so there are 2 worlds, friends. It's this world and the spiritual world, correct? And what's the deeper meaning of the pasuk? That the letter, with these 2 letters, God formed the 2 worlds. Next, read. With the letter Yud, the Gemara concludes, which letter what? The letter Yud, Hashem creates Ilam Haba. With the letter Hey, Hashem creates this world. Yeah? So already, without going further, Rosh Hashana is about the recreation of the world, the whole, not just this world, but the whole process of creation. The apple hints to these 2 divine letters, the Yud and the Hey, that creates all of existence. Now, you should know that there's a whole Sfarim written on the apple. Chakal tapuchin kadishin. It's expression in the Zohar, the field of holy apples. We make reference to it on Shabbos, before Kiddush. When Yaakov, now I can't explain everything, but when Yaakov came in to get the bracha from his father, dressed up in Esau's clothes, Esau's skin, as it were, so he says, Rei, see, Reach beni, Kereach Hashem, the aroma, the touch is like Esau, but the aroma is like the Gan Hashem, like the garden of Hashem, says Rashi, from the Medrash, a field of apples, of all things. A field of apples. We're seeing a little bit why, because in the apple, Hashem's name is embedded. Now, some say actually, the whole Yud Kei Vav Kei is actually there. In the center of the apple is the Yud and the Hey, but the Vav is the stem, the top of the apple. And the bottom of the apple, if you look at, not all apples is obvious, but like the red delicious, very pronounced. If you put the apple upside down, it has ridges, it's 5. There's 5 little bumps at the bottom. Sometimes it's smooth that you don't see clearly. But in apples where it's pronounced, it's 5. So you have the second Hey, this is on the outside of the apple. The inside is the Yud and the Hey. They're the 2 primary letters. On the outside is the Vav, the top, the stem, and the bottom is the Hey. But the inside, the heart of it is the Yud and the Hey, which Hashem creates the world. So let's just explain it for a moment. Why does Yud create Olam Haba and Hey this world? The letter Yud, friends, is a point. It's essentially a point. It's really the essence of all you have the letters, the expansion of the Yud. What's a point? A point, even in mathematics, it's there but doesn't take up space. But it's there. It's really almost a theoretical thing, because if you take a pencil and you make a mark on the paper or a pen, it's a line already. It's a line. If you can see it, it means it's a line. Put it under a magnifying glass, you can see that. So really a point in math, this is in the whole, it's a whole component of mathematics and physics. A point is there, but doesn't take up space. It's the first beginning of existence. It's opposed to a line. Olam Haba is where God is revealed, means the spiritual world. So everything is nullified to God there. It's a creation, but not separate from him, absorbed totally within him. Like a point, it's present, but it doesn't assert itself. This world's created with a Hey. Hey is very different to the Yud. It's got a whole structure. In fact, it's a house. It's a house. It's a roof, side, and a second side, but then opening the top, a window. The Gemara Taka says in Berachos, in Menachos, this very Gemara over here. What's that window at the top? Teshuvah. The opening at the bottom is fall down to the abyss through sin. But if you do tshuva, you can get out. Just by the way, this is matzah and chametz. Matzah and chametz are the same letters, except the hey and the ches. The ches is blocked, and the hey of matzah is open. Because if I'm arrogant, I'm never going to do tshuva. I'll give excuses for my behavior. It's downhill. There's no way out. But if I'm matzah, which is humble, doesn't rise, again, that's the bittul. Then there's an opening that a person can always get out and extract himself and then turn his sins around even to make them virtues. So that's the Hey, that's this world. This world has the choice. Fall or rise. And if you fall, one can always rise again. Moreover, the three letters of the Hey, the three strokes, represent thought, speech, and action, which is unique to this world. There's no thought, speech, and action in that world. In that world, it's instant communication. You don't have to talk. There's no barriers. Everything just is. Here, you don't know what I'm thinking. I don't even know what I'm thinking. I got to think about what I'm thinking. I got to speak. I got to talk. So thinking is the top one. Speech is the side, because you shouldn't. Obviously, if you're speaking, you've thought about what you spoke. And action is a separate leg, the third stroke, because you can do an act and walk away. It's not connected to you. So machshava dibur maisa, the garments of the soul, with which we interact with the world, represents this world, the three strokes of the Hey. That's why the letter Hey, God creates this world. So the point being, so all of creation is being renewed on Rosh Hashana, and the force of creation is Hashem's letters Yud and Hey. So we're dipping this in honey. What's the idea of dipping it in honey? So many explanations. First of all, sweet. But more than sweet. The paradox of honey is, where does it come from? It comes from bee that's not kosher. A bee is not kosher. And yet it produces something that's sweet, that is kosher. This is the whole power of teshuvah, that we can take our unkosher past and turn it around and make it sweet. And renew all of creation this way. Physical creation, spiritual creation is all sweetened and elevated. As we started our discussion, we're revealing, and the Yid does tshuva. This is more than creator, than harmony. He's just touching David to himself, because tshuva is crazy. You were a behemoth before. What happened over here now? How did this radical change? There's no kashas in the Yid. He can do it. He's not predictable. He's plugged into a place higher than nature and order and teva. That's what tshuva is, beyond teva. And this is what a Jew is bringing to creation. The bee is producing something, and God makes it in nature so we can get inspiration from this, and it stings. The bee stings and hurts, and it's not kosher. It's everything negative. Yet he produces the honey. Through tshuva, we can turn all this around and produce the greatest sweetness. So this is the profound message of Rosh Hashana and the dipping of the apple and the honey. Many other explanations as well. Just to add something at the bottom of the page here. So we're saying that Yud K is what are the forces by which God creates. That's 15. So Yud and Hey is 15, yeah? So very often in Gematria, if you have a word, to really expand on it, you multiply it by itself. It's kiflaim, double. Yeah, this is a repeated theme in Yiddishkeit. When it's double, you have to Lechem Mishnah and to Luchas. Double is the full intensity. So do the math here, friends. Add up the numerical value of Mazal Maznaim. What's Mazal Maznaim? Every month has different constellation, a different zodiac. So Elul was Psula, which is why Elul is a month of Chassidus traditionally. Just by the way, other months, even some months there's no weddings, like of only the second half of the month. But even months which you do have weddings, always the first month, because you want to marry as the moon is growing, not as it wanes. But there's certain months like Elul, the whole month is good, even the end of the month. Nowadays we don't follow these because thank God there's so many chasnas. If you're going to wait only the second half of the month, so it's been suspended. But there's a good reason, but Ruchni is why we don't need these restrictions anymore. Anyway, but so Elul is Psula. The constellation is a virgin. But what's the constellation of Tishrei? Scales. Hashem is judging. Also, it has to do with the psula, because what's a marriage? A marriage is you have to be balanced. You have to be balanced. You have to be in tune. Not like this, not like this. It follows directly. But do the math. Add up the numerical value of Mazal Maznayim. And also the numbers you added up, because I can't add. I flunked math. So Mem is 40, and so 40 and 7, no? 47 and 30 and 40 and 1 and 7 and 50 and 10 and 40. Fantastic. Now you take 15 Yud K and you multiply it by 15. That's the full strength to 25. So Yud K, the creative forces that create the world that Hashem is now reassessing. This is the time of judgment. What's the reassessment? Maybe she's saying again, make me want this by you wanting me. That's what's being judged now. So it adds up to what? Mazal Maznaim adds up to the two creative forces, the Yud K, fully expanded, Yud K times Yud K. Okay, my dear friends, this is the last year. The main thing is Mashiach now, and an end to all suffering and the purpose fulfilled. Hashem on earth, the big chasna. It's going to be the great wedding the whole world's going to be a part of, and they're going to watch the mitzvah dance between the Eibishter and Yidden, which will go forever. Greater and greater joy.
Wow.